Welcome to the UND Intramural Racquetball Online Captain's PowerPoint. Here are the starting and ending dates of the regular season league and the playoff season for this. As the captain, you serve as the liaison between the intramural program and your team. Make sure you are familiar with all sport rules and intramural policies. Make sure that each of your players are eligible to participate and let them know of scheduled game times. Let us know if you're unable to make it and regularly check your email for updates from the intramural staff. Before their first contest, each one of your players must be registered and join your team's roster on iamleagues.com, where you will be able to find all schedules, rules, and free agent listings. In order to be eligible, all players must be a UND student or a faculty or staff member with a Wellness Center membership, be on your iamleagues team roster, and have their UND ID on them. Players can be added to the roster at any time before playoffs, but they can only play for one team. Any ineligible player caught will subject themselves and their team to penalties outlined in the intramural handbook. Each team in every game will be rated on a 1 to 4 point scale for their sportsmanship before, during, and after a contest. If a player is ejected from a contest, that player will be suspended from their next game. A forfeit occurs when a team has no players on site at game time. That team will then be ineligible for playoffs, and if they receive 2 forfeits, the team will be dropped from the league. A default occurs when a team has players present, but the minimum number has not yet been met. Or if the captain notifies the intramural office that they will not be attending a game at least 6 hours in advance. If they receive 2 defaults, the team will be ineligible for playoffs, and if they receive 3 defaults, they will be dropped from the league. To compete in playoffs, teams must have won at least 2 games, a cumulative sportsmanship rating of 3 or higher, no forfeits, and no more than 1 default. Only players that participated in the regular season can participate in playoffs, and playoff scheduling may be different than regular season scheduling. No individual is allowed to be in possession or under the influence of alcohol or drugs. Any player caught will be immediately removed, suspended from their next game, and reported to UND safety. Team names must be appropriate. If deemed inappropriate by intramural staff, they will be immediately changed. The intramural staff is first aid and CPR certified and will provide initial emergency care to any injured parties. Participation is voluntary. Any bleeding players must immediately leave the game area and cannot return until the wound is covered, the bleeding has stopped, and any blood-stained clothing has been removed. Report all injuries to the intramural staff. No boots or open-toed footwear are allowed, and all jewelry must be removed for all intramural contests. Important parts of the court include the short line, which is in the middle of the court, the service line, which is 5 feet in front of the short line, the service zone, which is the space between the short and service lines, and the receiving line, which is 5 feet behind the short line. Games are best 2 out of 3 up to 21 using rally scoring. Serves must occur within the service zone, where the ball must bounce, then be hit, then hit the front wall, and then land behind the short line. Fault serves, which if you receive 2 results in your opponent serving, occur when the server leaves the service zone before the ball passes behind the short line, or if after the serve hits the front wall, it then hits both side walls, or the ceiling, or the back wall, or lands in front of the short line. Out serves, which if you receive 1 results in your opponent serving, occur when the ball hits the walls, floor, or ceiling after the front wall, or if the ball hits the front wall and the floor at the same time. The receiving team must stand behind the receiving line until the serve passes behind the short line. They then can let the ball bounce once on the floor until they have to hit it against the front wall before it bounces on the floor again. The ball can hit any or all of the walls or ceiling before it hits the front wall. If there's any unintentional interference, the serve will be replayed. But if a player positions oneself deliberately to interfere with a return or pushes or shoves an opponent, that will result in a point for the server or the serve transferring to the receiver. For doubles, partners must alternate serving. When serving, your partner must stand inside the service box. If the serve hits your partner after it hits the front wall, or if it passes between your partner and the side wall, the serve will be replayed. If your partner leaves the service box before the serve passes behind the short line, it will be considered a fault serve. Or if you hit your partner before the front wall, or if you serve out of order, it will be considered an out serve.
Because there are no officials on site,
it is the
captain's
responsibility of both
responsibility
teams to
to keep
report the
score.
score to the supervisor
Both
on duty
captains,
immediately
please
after
report
your game
scores
ends.
immediately
If you
after
believe
the
that your
game
opponent has
to the
exhibited
supervisor
poor
on duty.
sportsmanship, please notify the
If
supervisor
an
on
opponent
duty or the
exhibits poor
intramural staff
sportsmanship,
within 24
please
hours.
notify the supervisor on duty or intramural staff within 24 hours of the contest.
This video is only a small overview of the rules. Please read and be familiar with all sport rules and the intramural handbook. Ignorance of the rules is not an excuse, and remember all official calls are final. Like the Wellness Center Facebook page for all Wellness Center event updates at facebook.com/UNDWellness. For a full list of intramural sports, visit imleagues.com/UND. Thanks for watching. If you have any further questions, please visit UND.com/intramurals.